Hi, I am Bhuban. So today we are going to look into implementing a Gen server. So before getting into that, uh, if I am slow or fast, please inform me. And if any concept is if I am not clear, please inform me. Yeah. So the first concept we are going to look into is the uh, process. So uh, many people say like Elixir and Erlang are functional oriented languages, but it's a, process oriented language, and functional aspects are side effects of process oriented. So they designed Erlang and Elixir in a way that it can be easily scaled horizontally. So uh, yeah. Uh, so in order to scale horizontal, without passing reference, we are sending messages. So in order to make it non-mutable, we are sending it as messages without reference. So this makes it a functional language, but it is a side effect of process orientedness. So next concept is OTP. OTP stands for Open Telephone Platform. It was named like that, but now I don't think we are following the same name. But it consists of a lot of frameworks which are tried and tested, and a lot of concepts which are used again and again. So folks at Erlang made it as a framework with some fault tolerances and security aspects. So that's the OTP part of Erlang and Elixir OTP. So in that, today we are going to
Sorry, Bhutan.
uh, yeah.
Your voice is breaking in between. It's kind of
Oh, is
cracking
it
in between. Yeah.
now? Is it clear?
It's better, but I think when you're speaking a bit fast, it's cracking. Not sure what the issue is.
Okay. Yeah. If it comes again, please inform me. So the now we are going to look into Gen server. Uh, so in a typical application, we used to store data and retrieve data, or ask a server for request, and we can store data or update it with some information to manipulate its state. So it's a if we take any business, it's we are going to provide it with data, and after some process, we are getting back with that process data. So this becomes a generic use case. So people at OTP, they implemented a concept within Elixir, and it is called Gen server. So yeah. Uh, so it is advised to have business logic of all uh, code we write inside as a functional aspect, and if we want to make it usable by multiple people, then we introduce a Gen server around that concept, and we can proceed with that. Yeah, let's get into the slides. Uh, in Gen server, the basics are the commands which commands and functions which we use are spawn, send, receive, and loop. So with these primitive functions provided by Erlang and Elixir, we will be constructing a Gen server. So if these slides follow, like each slide is dependent on the previous slide. If you are not able to follow, or if I am fast, please inform me. I'll stop and explain it again. Yeah. So spawn is a function which spawns another function in module with the given parameters. So once a function is spawned, so the newly created function is another process, and the existing process continues with its task. So whenever a process encounters spawn, it creates a new process with the function mentioned in it and continues with its job. And the newly spawned process also continues with its job. So both of these are independent afterwards, and the Erlang so the this returns a PID of the newly created process. So in order to communicate between the existing process and the new process, we use send. Uh, like if we execute a send command, it sends a message to the other process, which will be delivered to the mailbox of the other process. So if the child process or the other process, we try to avoid child and parent association, because they are like equal citizens. The newly created process can send back data to the parent using the same send command. So in order to read the messages in the mailbox, we issue a command called receive. So whenever a process encounters a receive command in its execution path, it waits there. It won't continue further. It's kind of like a sleep mode or something. So whenever new message comes, this is waken up, and the execution continues based on the received message. And the last concept in this, this is a recursive loop. It's a plain loop which continues on infinitely. And if we are using a recursive loop, there arises a problem of stack overflow and memory exhaustion. But how we are solving loop concept is like a Elixir and Erlang uses tail call optimization. So whenever the last execution part of a function is a new call of the function without any other functions, like loop plus or loop minus some other thing. Instead of that, if we execute last part of the function with calling the function itself, it will remove the function from the stack and create new function and goes on with it. So on each execution, new function will be called without keeping the functions stack and data in the memory. Shall I continue with the next part? Hello?
Yes, Bhubalan. If
Yeah.
there are any questions, I'll ask them.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. So this is a representation. So all the wheel gear cogs are consider those as execution by the CPU of the OS, and all these squiggly lines, all these squiggly lines are the processes. So whenever this process encounters spawn, it spawns a new process, and this process is created, and this process continues with its execution. And whenever this process encounters receive, it waits here. Consider that there is one more process, and this process wants to interact with the existing process. This can send message to the mailbox of this process. So the process loop waits at receive. So whenever that encounters message from any other process, or it can send from within itself, this will execute the function and again waits in the receive. So it can send back data using this send command to the process which sends message. Yeah, this is a visual representation. We can continue with the next. So I have followed some conventions here. So this red part denotes like the process, the code which is executed inside a new process, and black parts are remaining external things. And I underlined with yellow. So those are the main concepts which we should follow for now. Yeah. So let's start with storing and retrieving cricket scores. Yeah. So I'm defining this function. All these are in the same module or file for now, and later we can refactor it into separate files or modules. Yeah. So whenever start command is issued, this spawns a loop process. So after spawning this loop process, this new process waits at receive. So this this usually whenever we execute command from IEX, the processor starts with the IEX context or process. So this after spawning, it waits here in IEX. So the newly spawned process waits at the receive part. So whenever we issue update run, so we have to issue command with the process ID. So it will send a message called update run to the new process. So pid.send to the process. So when it waits at receive, and whenever it sees update run, it will call update run method. So it updates the score, and it get back the score and loops the process. So it waits again. So the value of score is updated and returned back, and it is looped again. So whenever we want to update another value or part of the state, we issue another command called update wicket, and this waits here, and whenever it receives update wicket, it executes the function and get back the new score, and it loops again. So this is the basis of Gen server. So now we updated the scores, but in order to retrieve score, the child process has to send back the value to the parent process. So this is done by making the parent process wait. So how are we going to wait is by issuing a receive command. So whenever so I skipped the previous code. These are like codes added to the same file. Yeah. So whenever I issue getRuns method, it comes here and it sends message called getRuns. But in order to identify the parent process by the child process, we are going to send the PID of the parent process using self. So this comes here, and it gets the command and executes the update run, and it sends the message back to the parent, and then it continues with its loop. So this is, so we receive a value from the child and we return the runs part. So this is how we get back the wickets. Similarly, we are going to send a message, and this executes this function and returns back the score, and it continues with its loop, and this continues with its execution. So till now we have viewed it as like a left part is another IEX execution context, and right part is new view. So let's refactor the left part alone. So this is not refactor part. This is the refactored part. So here we issued commands for update runs and update wickets. So here we are repeating send. So that we are refactoring it as a cast function. So pid dot send message, and here we are sending message and waiting for the new message to be returned by the child process. So these two repetitions are refactored into call function. So we are sending a message and wait for the return value. So the functions which are used to update and get back the value are refactored as, we can just use cast and we can use get runs. So this part is refactored. So next we are going to refactor the loop side of the process. So here we are whenever we update value, we are just calling functions and we are looping the returned value. Whenever we are sending back the value, we are executing functions, getting back value and sending the same value, and we are looping the updated value. So these two can be combined and these two can be combined. Yeah, so this is so so in order to update in order to update the value alone, we are going to extract it as a function called handle cast. So handle cast, we are using pattern matching here to call the appropriate function. So whenever we receive a message called update runs, we are going to call this function, and whenever we get update wickets, we are going to call this function, and we get the new state and loop. Yeah. So the next part is sending back the value. So here we are calling the handle call function and sending back the updated value, and we are looping the function again. Yeah. So we can have, till now we are just incrementing and getting back the values. So if we want to update the existing with the new values or something, we can pass parameters along with the messages. So that part is done here. So we can have instead of one run, we can have multiple runs, and we update those with we pattern match here with the updated runs. Then we update the score. I'm using map here to just put the values. We can use some other, like if you are using some other data structure, we can use the same. So this is the function which this is the function which is used cast command, and cast command calls this function and updates the value. So similarly, we can pass parameter for call command also. So cast, we are using it for updating values, and call, we are using it for updating and getting back the new value. Cast command doesn't wait for the execution of the child loop, but the call command waits for the value to be returned by the child process or loop. So here here we are using update and get runs, and with the new runs to be updated with. So here we are pattern matching with the updated runs, and we are updating the scores with the given runs, and this will be repeated in the loop. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hey, hi. Like there is a question here, rather a suggestion. Like, can you go through refactoring a bit slow?
Yeah, sure. Which part?
Couple of minutes.
This refactoring part is, I'll come again with the refactoring part.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So here send is repeated. So we are extracting it out as cast. Here sending and receiving is repeated in these two functions. So we are refactoring that as call. So we are sending and receiving, but with generic message instead of custom messages. So we are reusing this with another function, like instead of using the custom messages, we are extracting it out and using the function to call it back. So in the loop side, we are updating the runs and we are updating the wickets and looping again. But this part is same. So we are extracting this out as a same function like handle cast, and we are looping the function with the new state. So handle cast is refactored out. The next part is we are uh, sending back the message to the sender with the updated runs and looping back with the score. So this part is repeated. So we are extracting it out as we are sending back the message and looping it with the state. So this is extracted it out as handle call. Yeah. Yeah, so this is same, but we are adding parameters. That's all in these two part. Instead of having just messages like uh, update runs and update wickets, we are enclosing it with uh, uh, run or parameter, and we are using tuple. We are sending the parameters. This is same for cast also. In cast also we are sending message along with runs. Yeah. So so we started these processes with this spawn command issued from the start function. But in some scenarios, we would like
Bhugat,
to. Yeah, sorry.
there is another question. What do you mean by looping with state?
Yeah, we are using. Yeah, we are calling the same function again and again with the state, updated state or new state. So it will wait again in the receive part. We are calling the same function again and again. So this process continues forever, and it waits in the receive part. Is it clear?
Uh, yes, Bhugat. Yeah.
Yeah, in all these places, we are at after processing the request, we are again calling the same function. That's what I mentioned by looping. So after any execution, we will be calling the same loop function. So the process continues. So yeah, while initiating the state, we might want to get a initial value from DB or some external API. So we want to extract this part as a separate function. So instead of directly calling uh, with the initial values, we are calling a function called init, which will return a initial state. These are for reusing the code part. So So this code is same as the previous code, but I just arranged the functions on like two sides. So the functions on the right side contains like the words which are mentioned in the start of the slide. If the function contains any one of these part like spawn, loop, receive, or send, we will put those functions on the right side, and we put the remaining part in the left side. This is I haven't done any change to the code. I just segregated it on sites. Note that this red color is distributed now in these two sites. So I will come back to this later. Yeah, so now we are like enclosing the left side in a separate module, and we are enclosing the right side in separate module. We are just enclosing, we are not doing anything. But since both codes are in the same file previously, we are able to call the functions directly. Like we can call the init directly, but now since we are using two different modules, we have to pass the module name also. So here we would be calling the function inside the module. So previously we would be calling init directly, but now we have to use module name, which is stored in callback, to call the start thing. So this process repeats throughout the loop. So here instead of initiating the loop with state alone, we are passing module name also. So whenever we want to call handle cast or handle call method, we would be prefixing it with the module which was passed. So this is the change which is done here. Nothing like nothing much changed here. So we are passing the module name alone. So this is the refactoring done here. Shall I continue?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are no questions yet. There is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
I'll.
Yeah, shall I continue? After that, we'll take questions, or
If there are no questions, you can continue.
yeah, sure. So there are certain other factors we have to consider when having this Gen server. So this the spawned process continues within the loop. We need a scenario to stop the execution of the loop. So we are providing a function called terminate. Terminate sends a message called terminate. This is just passing the message, but here we are not calling the function again. We are just returning okay. So in this way, we can stop this process. So after executing this process dies because there is no other path to go. So this is how we stop the process. And we might like accidentally receive messages from some other process to this process, but the problem with the mailboxes are if they are not matched, it will be stored in the mailbox. So whenever it exceeds a certain size, the process or the machine itself can crash. So that's why we are having a generic message handler which will be calling handle info. So we have seen handle call, handle cast, and we are using generic callback called handle info. Yeah. of all these, after organizing on sites, so we are hiding this with the concept of Gen server. So the right side part of that is the functionality provided by Gen server. So afterwards, we shouldn't use these ports because Gen server has much more fault tolerance and safety mechanisms than our basic implementation. Yeah. So in here I just used this code, like use Gen server, though that abstracts the implementation of Gen server, and the rest goes on. So this is like this is for updating. So I'll go through this fastly. Like, so whenever we start a Gen server, we start with module name, which is current module, and init value. Init value we can pass like a empty array, or like a struct which is used to store the runs. So since we are using a map to store runs, we would be passing a empty map. So here it gets back the structure of the run. So whenever we want to update the runs, we would be calling the Gen server with the cast with the update runs command, or this can be this is a message, just a message. And if we want to update and get back the value, we would be using genserver.call method, and we will be using one message called update and get runs, and update it with runs. So for these messages, we have to implement handle cast and handle call, or else it will throw an error, because there is no function which can handle these messages. So the handle cast matches update runs with the runs passed, and we will be updating the map with the runs and returning. So we are using no reply here because handle casts won't reply. This is just a convention. In our implementation, we won't use anything, but this is a convention introduced by Gen server. And if we use for this handle call, for this call method, update and get runs, we have to implement a function called handle call with the message, and it matches the runs passed, and this value is updated in the score. And this, since we are replying with a value, we issue reply atom. These two are conventions used in Gen server. So if we want to implement a stack, so this is just another example of the same implementation. So we are using Gen server. We are starting the Gen server with empty array, and this start will make the Gen server call back this init function, and we are returning empty array or list. So whenever we want to push an element to the stack, we issue command called cast. So this cast expects a method called handle call with this message. So we are implementing handle cast. So this expects a value, and this updates the stack with the value. So if we want to pop an element, we are calling the Gen server with pop command, and this expects us to implement a method called handle call with matched pop. So this returns. So here we are pattern matching and splitting it as head and tail, and we are returning the head part, and this is the new updated state which is returned back. So this is the implementation of stack, and we have to implement terminate and handle info if we want to do handling of those scenarios. Yeah, these are the callbacks we can implement in the stack or any implementation if you want to use a gen server. So init is the initial value used to pass initial value to the gen server, and handle call and handle cast have been discussed. And handle continue is a new callback, I think, which was introduced, I don't know, in Elixir, and I think it was ported back to Erlang. So in some scenarios, if we are using a long running process in init, the gen server will wait for this to complete, but that blocks the process of other processes. So in order to avoid that, we issue handle continue. So whenever init takes time, we can use this handle continue to take the heavy lifting from init. So we can return some value immediately in init and make the long running task inside handle continue. So this ensures that handle call and handle cast and other callbacks will be called after handle continue, which makes sure that the state of the gen server is initialized properly. Handle info we have seen. Code change, this is for changing the code in runtime. So I think we are not using this now, but this is a very good feature in gen server. We can. Hello.
Bhubalan, there is a question.
Yeah.
Does the genserver.call method hold like a lock on the genserver process? What if two simultaneous call functions are received? Are they queued or run in different threads?
They will be queued. So this gen server, gen server call, this sends a message to the mailbox, and so if we issue multiple calls, it will be put in the gen server, and these processes will wait. And the receive loop inside, the receive loop inside loop, gen server or loop, this will process one by one. So this has to wait. Is it clear? It's put inside a mailbox, which is kind of a queue. Hello?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah, like whenever we use a call, so this is just sending message, right? This is just sending message, right? So this sends message. So we can issue multiple calls. All the messages are put into the mailbox of this process, loop process. So it will be processed one by one. Yeah. And format status gives the I think I'm not sure, it gives formatted statuses of the process, it seems, and terminates the process. So so if we are just storing and retrieving value, Elixir provides us with a module called agent. We don't have to use gen server itself to store and retrieve values. If we need to do some other processing in handle info or these things, we can use gen server. If we are just storing and retrieving values, we could go for agents. So, but agents internally uses gen server to implement its functionality. So I'll explain the agent part. So agent start link, we have to pass a function that returns a initial value, and we can update the value inside the agent with agent.update. Agent is where we store the PID, and we are again passing a function. So the value returned in this function is updated to agent value. So we can get back the value using get. So these are we can directly use value itself, but in order to make it generalized, we are following this pattern called a function, which returns a list, and we can update. So so this function receives the value stored in the agent, and we can use that value to manipulate and update the list again. So, and we can stop this loop. So the internal representation of it would be like whenever we start the agent, we are like calling a function. So this function will be called, that's all. So return value of this function, this is like executing the function. So the return value is updated as initial value, and whenever get function is issued, it will it will issue a command called genserver.call get of function. So in handle call, we will be passing a state to the function. So here we are executing the function which is passed from here, like function list of list. So this is what we are doing here, and returning back the value. Yeah, I think that's all. So if I missed something, I'll go back and explain it. So
Yeah, we have a couple of minutes for Q&As. If you have any questions, do shoot it in the Q&A section. Yeah, one is regarding sharing slides. I think he'll definitely share the slides.
yeah,
Can you explain how to stop the running process again?
how to stop is it?
How to stop the running process?
Yeah, we have to issue a command called terminate, which will call back the uh, yeah, we have implemented yeah, we have to call a function called terminate or yeah, server.terminate, which will send like which will stop, and before stopping it would call the callback called terminate. Here we can clean up any resources or any job which we need to do at the killing time. Yeah. So so I have implemented a game, and I have used this gen server extensively here. So you can find the code at here, and the game at here.
Cool. I think that's it about questions. Dubalan, thanks for the talk. It was an excellent talk.
Okay.
And
If you get any like questions, you can put the questions in Telegram. I will try to reply those. Yeah.
sure, we'll do that. We'll do that. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Dubalan.
Yeah.